this. So whichever arm I've got on the bottom is basically points the way out. That's what we've been pretty much working. So if I have this arm on the bottom, right, almost regardless of where the guy is, I can take my feet in this direction, right, or I can just, I can start usually moving in this direction. If I have this arm down, it's like this arm points the way out, right? So anytime I end up with an arm on the bottom side, it gives me, basically I'm moving that, as a general rule, for now, we move in that direction. And what starts to happen is it starts to line up. If you've been caught flat, the shoulder starts to line up with their middle, with their sternum, right? So if I'm using Lee as an example, if he takes cross-side position, so the basic gist would be here. Let's say, I don't know, this arm's ended up, let's say this arm's ended up kind of a bit stuck, right? But the basic idea would be that as I begin to move and as my shoulder begins to get into the middle of his body, I begin to push him. Does everyone see that? Yeah. It kind of begins to drive into him. Yeah. So this area, it's almost like this area, he really wants to, or needs to try and defend it at all times, I think, in cross-side position. Yeah. If it's the other way around, and I've ended up like this, okay, the basic gist still of all of this is I can move, when I move into him, it creates dilemmas for him. Because I can begin, when I start to get to here, if he isn't moving, I can begin to start to work guard. He's on his knees at the moment. A lot of the time in this position, guys have their legs up. I can start sliding under. So what starts happening is, he's going to have to start, as I'm moving like this, he has to start moving himself. Does everyone see that? He has to start to move. And so it then starts to create, if I can start to get onto my side, I can start coming up. If he turns to face into me, if he faces, he walks right onto the bridge. And if as I'm moving like this, he turns the other way and turns in, there's usually a good chance that I can bump him. So that's the basic idea of it, is that by me moving, if I have the underhook, I can move into him and I can threaten a whole host of ways of dealing with that position just by moving my feet and then beginning to work to get my shoulder towards the middle. Does that make sense? Yeah. So let's have a go at this again, just with he's got the elbow pass, arm on the hip, and we're just playing with walking this in, and he's going to kind of feed it a bit, so he might turn into me occasionally when I'm doing this. So now I'm looking to bridge, turning my thumb all the way down. I'm always corkscrewing with this. The hand is always kind of hidden in here. I never want the hand on this outside. If I can put it here, because here it's exposed, you can grab it and just grab my wrist. You can grab my wrist, and you start humoring, and so I never ever want it. I always want to try and hide it. If it happens to come out and I end up with it here, I'm going to have to go to his head. But the basic principle is going to be the same. I'm going to move into him, club, and go. So grab a body and let's give it a go.